So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it looks kind of different. The setup is slightly different. If you haven't noticed, it doesn't really matter. But today we're going to do it slightly different also. I took some notes right here. I couldn't see that all that well. But yeah, I took some notes while I was watching the game. And today, when I rant, I have references right here, so I don't miss out some of the stuff. Because at times I feel like I miss out some of the stuff. And today, everything that I want to talk about while I was watching the game is right here, and I'm going to talk about it. All right, so number one, first of all, Boban, Burke, and Curry, they were very impressive. I'm talking about really, really impressive. This is the Clippers playing against the Mavericks game. That's the game that we're talking about right now. I mean, Luka was Luka, another record. He set another record. Most points by, I don't know, a rookie. There's so many records nowadays. I don't know, is it by a rookie, by the youngest player or something like that, by a player debuting into the playoffs or something like that. I can't keep a track of all these crazy records nowadays. There's just too many records. But anyway, he set some new record. And yes, he was pretty impressive, except for the foul trouble. But yeah, early on, he set the tone, controlled the game, and that allowed the Mavericks to have an early lead. But somehow, with the foul trouble and everything, they lost that lead. They allowed the Clippers to crawl right back into the game. So let's jump all the way to the fourth quarter. Like I said, Luka was in foul trouble. He got into foul trouble, and at the very beginning of the fourth quarter, he committed a foul. So he had to go sit down again. And when he went to sit down, this allowed Burke to come back in. And Burke started punishing the Clippers. And I'm talking about not just Burke. This is the second team. The second team was out there punishing again. And did I mention that Boban was nice? Even in the first quarter, he was really nice. I love the way he was setting those high screens and creating angles and all that. So the guards were just out there shining and all that. He was just doing all the right things. He was doing all the right things and grabbing a lot of boards. Boban for president, if you ask me. But yeah, so Burke was shining. Burke was just killing them. Man, at one point, I thought I was watching Allen Iverson. He took Paul George and crossed them, stepped back and shot that ball. Unfortunately, it didn't go in. It's got to be the shoes because he's rocking Allen Iverson's. And he was looking really nice out there. And then the other dude, like I said, Curry, for a second there, I thought I was watching Steph. And I was like, yo, Steph made it into the bubble? But no, it was actually Seth. And he was hot. He was hitting jumpers from everywhere. But the biggest issue, they've been known to have leads, and in tight games, they just can't seem to close games. They can't seem to close games. And it almost seemed like the same thing was happening again. They had like an 18-point lead, and they got tight. It was like 5 minutes to go, and everything just got tight all of a sudden. They couldn't score. They couldn't do what? They were rushing shots and missing layups and all that. And the Clippers started coming at him. And these guys look hungry. They were coming for it. And that's when Luka checked back in and managed to stabilize the game, and they won that game. But yeah, so I do want to talk about the Clippers though, right? So the Clippers, I feel like the Clippers, they seem very disjointed. You know what I mean? They just seem like all over the place. One thing for sure, the Mavericks were able to expose them. These guys, you can see they really don't have a true point guard. And the way they play, it reflected that. Reggie was kind of nice. He hit a couple threes here and there, but he didn't even get to play all that much. And having Kawhi bring the ball up, and you also what happened when Kawhi had the ball and LeBron put some D on him and all that. He quickly just picked up the ball, couldn't dribble no more, and passed that ball to Paul George like, here, grab the ball, save me. Okay, so let's not get into that. That's when they played against the Lakers. But it's the same thing, Everybody's bringing up the ball, and it's just everybody. It seems like it was just a whole lot of ISOs, and Kawhi was doing the same thing. He only passed when there were no options. The only option was to give it up. But or else, it seems like he just looks down. He's not even looking at the defenders nowadays. It's just Kawhi. And no, I'm not hating on Kawhi. That's just the way I see it. And usually I speak my mind, and that's the way I see it. And then Paul George has had a really tough night. Foul trouble, and the shots were just not falling. And it was just kind of hard for the Clippers. And clearly, you could see that everybody's fighting, or everybody was trying to play hero to kind of like save this team. And the way Kawhi was playing, and Lou also, Lou has this chemistry with Trez, but I don't see it anymore. Is it because there's no clear leader and everybody's struggling? I had a conversation with JB. JB, what up, JB? So I had a conversation with JB, and we came to this conclusion. I think, Kawhi thinks he's the leader now. Well, everybody seems to say that Kawhi is the leader. So supposedly he's supposed to be the leader. And then I think Lou was like, yo, wait a minute, this is my team. Before these guys came, I was the closer. I was doing everything. Everything was working. We were playing like a team and all that. So I feel like Lou still wants to have that very same team that they had last year exist with this team this year. I don't know if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please hit rewind and listen to that again, because I'm not going to repeat that. I don't think I would say it any better than the way I did. Okay, so, and then you have Paul George, which you asked me, I think he's the best player on that team. I think Paul George clearly is the best player on that team, but I think Paul George, I don't know, he's just, here, Kawhi, yo, this is your team. You're the best player. Even one time when he was asked him, he was like, Kawhi put us in this position. He's our leader and blah, blah, blah. It just didn't seem authentic. I don't know, from the way I heard it, it just seemed like Paul George is not convinced, but he doesn't want to rock the boat. That's just the way I see it. And if you ask me, I think he's the best player. Things should go through him at the very end. And I know a lot of you are like, what? Kawhi. I really don't care. I mean, I'm going to say it the way I see it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's the way I see it. I think Paul George is the best player on that team. And at the end, Paul George should be closing. If you go through Paul George, good things are going to happen. Paul George plays like a team player. He can play with the team. Paul George can go ISO. I don't think Kawhi plays with the team all that well. When it's time for Kawhi, it's more ISO. Kawhi is going to do Kawhi. And if he can't do anything, that's when he's going to refer to everybody else. And I think Kawhi, thrived on teams with a very good team system. And, with the Raptors, they clearly had Lowry controlling the rock, or Van Vliet or somebody like that. And then we know what happened with the Spurs and all that. There was always, Tony or Manu or, one of them. So he didn't really have to do all that. Now, when you ask him to bring the ball up, it's just, you ask me, it's just not working. It's just not working. The Clippers are in trouble. They should have been down 2-0 if you ask me right now. The Clippers are in trouble. Those two LA teams are in trouble. Okay, I'm sorry. We might not be watching what everybody wants to see, the two LA teams in the conference finals. I really don't think so. And if you think otherwise, please let me know. Please let me know. Hey, yo, make sure you forget to subscribe. Make sure you do that. And make sure you forget to hit that bell right there so you don't hear from me. Do whatever you want to do, man. Whatever, man.